Hello and welcome to the distance learning program organized by Royal Cyber for the use of host access transformation service. I am Asif Hussain, and along with me I have Muhammad Imran, who is an experienced HATS developer, and he has a number of years experience handling HATS projects for lots of clients. Many of them are Fortune 500 companies. We are presenting Royal Cyber here, which is a modernized e-business solutions provider specializing in software deployment and development. We are IBM Premier Business Partner, IBM Authorized Trainer, and Microsoft Certified Gold Partner. Since the company's inception in 2002, our experts have been leaders in providing trainings and consultancy of IBM Rational, WebSphere, Tivoli, Lotus, Cognos, and Microsoft families. Headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, we have a global footprint with offices and development centers across North America, Asia, Europe, Africa, and Middle East. Royal Cyber's strategic move of establishing offshore centers in Asia has helped us to reduce cost and provide highly competitive rates to our valued clients. Now, a little about today's topic, that's IBM Rational Host Access Transformation Service. It transforms traditional text-based interfaces such as 3270 and 5250 green screen applications into web portlet, rich client, or mobile device user interfaces. It also extends 3270 and 5250 and virtual terminal applications as standard web services. With Rational HATS, you can easily convert traditional text-based host application screens to user-friendly GUIs. Rational HATS is available in different packages, Rational HATS for multi-platforms and HATS for Linux on Z-Series, Rational HATS for 50-50 applications on multi-platforms, and Rational HATS for 5250 applications on i5 OS. Rational HATS allows you to reuse and repropose your existing assets in innovative ways. Anytime during the session, you can type your questions on the chat window provided by the GoToMeeting application, or you can ask them at the end of the session when we will open your microphones on your request. You can see this agenda here on the slide, the outline of the distance learning workshop. We will start with a discussion on our integrated development environment, commonly known as IDE, and the environment we use for HATS development, and will brief on all the topics HATS developers should know about. Tomorrow we'll also showcase few HATS application solutions we worked on to show you how the solution looks like and how useful it can be to use HATS for modernization. Now let's see what Eclipse is. Eclipse support a variety of tools for development, including IBM HATS. During the HATS application development, we frequently use editors, toolbars, markers, preferences, and etc. Rational Application Developer is a successor to IBM WebSphere Studio Application Developer. It is based on the open source Eclipse development platform. The Eclipse platform is an extensible development platform, and application framework for building software. You can add plugins to the platform to include new functionality. The Eclipse platform by itself comes with Java integrated development environment for Java application development. It provides some common tools and features for Java developers. Built on top of Eclipse platform, application developer adds a great number of capabilities including J2EE development, XML, web service development, database development, and of course HATS development that we are going to discuss today. The first time that you open the product, the Rational Application Developer, you specify a workspace. A workspace can be any directory location where your work is stored. If you are working on multiple projects at the same time, use different workspaces for each project to ensure a clear code separation. Eclipse has a concept called perspective. A perspective is a consolidation of tools and views that a developer needs. Application developer offers a number of perspectives tailored for different types of developers, such as web, data, J2EE, and debug, Java programming, and HATS if installed. HATS projects section shows projects in the current workspace within any Rational Application Developer workspace. All resources are organized into projects which contain the files, folders, and properties required for the application under construction. In a workspace, you can create different kinds of projects with different structures as required for different applications. Content area or editor area where editors appear, editors that have been associated with specific file types will open in the editor area of the workbench. Depending upon the chosen files extension, you can say, a particular editor appears in this editor area to let you see that the contents of that particular file. There's this palette view that contains extensible drawers of drag and drop objects, allows you to drag objects such as tables or form buttons into the design or source. And you can see at the bottom there is this task or problem section that shows the error or warning messages. So there's this overall picture of the IDE you get, and let's see let's see what perspectives are. A perspective is a visual container for a set of views and editors or parts. These parts exist wholly within the perspective and are not shared. A perspective is also like a page within a book. It exists within a window along with any number of other perspectives, and like a page within a book, only one perspective is visible at any time. As I said, it is a consolidation of tools and views that a developer needs. Rational Application Developer offers a number of perspectives tailored for different types of developers, and HATS is, of course, one of them. Views provide different presentations of resources or ways of navigation through the information in your workspace. For example, the Project Explorer view displays projects and other resources that you are working in a folder type hierarchy. while the links view in the web perspective shows just the web pages in a given project and the URL links between them. Rational Application Developer provides synchronization between views and editors so that changing the focus or a value in an editor or view can automatically update another. In addition, some views display information obtained from other software products, such as database systems or software configuration management systems. This shows step by step how you can open a view panel and make changes to it and save the changes. When you open a file, Rational Application Developer automatically opens the editor that is associated with with that particular file type. For example, the page designer is opened for .html and for JSP files, while the Java editor is open for Java and JPEG files. Toolbar is to speed up navigation between editors. The contents of this toolbar change based on the active perspective. We'll use different icons from toolbar later in the training. Eclipse Workbench has a central mechanism for managing resource annotations. They are called markers. Markers are of typically three types: problems for representing invalid states, errors, warnings, and information; tasks for capturing user-created reminders. It's kind of a to-do list; bookmarks for making a location that can be quickly jumped to later. Application developer has a large number of preference settings. We'll see in detail few of these settings when they will be required to discuss later in this training. But this is just to let you know that this application developer has a preferences section. Help lets you browse, search, bookmark, or print help documentation. The documentation is organized. It also supplies a text search capability for finding the information you need by search phrase or keyword. Context-sensitive search in help is also available, and it is used for finding information to describe the particular function you're working with. Now I will call my fellow presenter Imran to continue with what is HATS.
Thank you, Asif. With HATS, you can create web applications, including portlets and rich client applications that provide an easy-to-use graphical user interface (GUI) for your 50 to 50 applications running on IBM I operating system platform or 30 to 70 applications running on IBM Z. HATS is a rule-based web-to-transformation engine that provides customized access to one or more host options. HATS dynamically creates a new web HTML interface, means whatever green screen will be present on the host web page will be created according to that screen on the fly. And the GUI application which is created by HATS significantly improves the navigation and productivity of legacy applications. Default rules allow host application to be on web within hours. It means with basic default setting, you can use your modernized application within hours. For developing a basic default HATS application, there is no requirement for programming skill. For developing a basic default HATS application, no need to access or modify source code. Merge data from various sources into a single web interface means you can combine data from multiple backend systems and integrate them seamlessly into a single web application. The end user need not know they are switching between multiple hosts, virtual terminal, or native J2EE applications. HATS supports transformation of objects from both type of green applications, 30-70 Z series and 50-50 I series. HATS also support data object from virtual terminal hosts. Later, if you want to customize your more frequently used screens, you can customization at your own pace. For running HATS application, only web browser is needed on a client. Zero footprint, zero download. These are the host applications. This one is 50-50 and this one is 30-70 Z series before the transformation. And these are the applications, same application we saw in a previous slide after transformation. This one is a 50-50 I series and this one is 30-70 Z series. Screen can be customized in many ways. You can use button, hot links, drop-down valid value lists in pull-down menus can replace text input fields. Valid value list will help user avoid syntax error. You can also modify graphics, fonts, color, and layout. Macros are easy to generate in HATS and are very powerful. You can skip and combine screen or enter data on behalf of the end user. Any series of keystroke can be captured in a macro. HATS provide full supports of macros. Global variable can be used to store and retrieve data. HATS can also perform mathematical calculation on global variables. We can store an end user input as global variables. We can use global variable to pre-fill text entry fields. HATS provides an easy to use wizard for creating tab folders. Tabs are very useful way for organizing the data on a disordered green screen. You could divide the data on an overly busy green screen among 3 or 4 tabs, making it much easier for an end user to make sense of the data. HATS provide a wizard to create real-time bar and line graphs. HATS dynamically convert numerical data into a graphs. Because HATS is a feature of Rational Studio, HATS can integrate with other Java-based applications. This flexibility is a valuable feature of HATS. Java skills are not necessary for basic HATS functionality, but Java skill would be necessary to add business logic and to integrate with other Java applications. You can establish a print session for the associated host application. When the HATS application is running, a user of the application can print data or display data that is formatted for printing. By enabling keyboard support, there are different ways user of your HATS application can send keystroke to the host. For example, button or link for function key are rendered by head's default rendering. The user click on the button or link to send a host key to the host. This is an example of combine integrate data from various sources into a single web interface. Here you can see data from 50 to 50 application, from 30 to 70 application, and from virtual terminal in a single web interface. Head toolkit can be installed into rational software development platform like Rational Application Developer 8.5 or Rational Business Developer 8.5 or Rational Software Architect, WebSphere Integration Developer, from which you create your Heads application. You may then deploy your Heads application to a WebSphere application server or WebSphere portal server. Running on any of a variety of operating systems, it gets deployed as an enterprise archive, EAR or WAR. The developer used the Heads toolkit to develop and test a Heads web application. When ready, the developer deploys the Heads application by exporting it as a J2EE application and installing and running it on a WebSphere application server or portal server. Using a web browser, the user accesses the Heads application. The Heads runtime connects to the target host system through a telnet. As the user interacts with the host through the Heads application, the Heads runtime transforms host screen to a GUI. It is a continue from the previous slide. Developer developed the Heads application in Rational Heads Studio. After testing, EAR or WAR of Heads application can be generated from Rational Heads Studio. Then deploy your EAR or WAR on WebSphere application or WebSphere portal server, and user will access your developed Heads application from web browser. Web browser will send the request to the WAS or portal server, and your WAS or portal server send request to Z series or I series and create connection. Now we are covering our first lab. This lab will cover all the steps necessary to build a basic Heads application. Apply a default transformation and test the application by running it on the WebSphere application server 8.0. So run your Heads toolkit. Make sure in your development environment your Heads perspective is selected. From the main menu, select File, New, and then Heads project. On a create project, type the name of the project, something like Lab 1, and in the enterprise application project, something like Lab 1 underscore EAR, and select the target server as a WebSphere application server 8.0, and then click next button. On a create a project Lab 1 connection setting panel, type iSeries d.dfw.ibm.com. It's a demo server of IBM, and then type the type of screen 50 to 50 because it is a iSeries, and then type the port 992 and leave the code page as 037 United States and screen size 27 by 132, and then click next button. On this window, leave all the option as default selection. We will discuss these options later in detail. On a create a project level default template, select the template for your project, something like Surreal.jsp. To run application, we need to add SSL to our project. For this purpose, in Has Project Explorer, double click on main default connection. Click security option at bottom. Check enable SSL and import PKCS12 keystroke into a project option. Click the import button. File open dialog box will be opened. Look at key.p12 file which I sent you in my last email as a part of zip file, and click open button. Provide the valid password, which is a Royal Cyber. In the password field, click verify button. This message will be shown in case of success. Click OK button and then save the project. Now you have created our first HATS project using 50-50 I series. We can test it by running it on server. Make sure the server is running and then right click Lab 1 project and select run on server. You can see our green screen has modernized in GUI application. Now if you have any question, please ask. You can write your question in a chat window, or we can also open your mics.
Participants can type their questions in the chat window or ask me to open his or her mic so that participant can ask it verbally. We have a written question about tabbed folders. So Imran will tell about tabbed folders in detail.
Tabs are very useful way for organizing the data on a disordered green screen. You can divide the data on an overly busy green screen among 3 or 4 tabs, making it much easier for end users to make sense of the data. It is same like you can see tabs on a traditional websites.
So it's like a tab on any software you have seen. You would have used many softwares with tabs on the screen where a user can select a certain type of tab, and the software shows a certain type of contents according to the selected tab. We have another question about global variables, um, uh, and a question is about macros. Macros we'll discuss macros in detail in next session. But as far as global variables are concerned, global variables can be used to store data. Hats can also perform mathematical calculations on global variables. We can store end user inputs as global variables. We can use global variables to pre-fill text entry fields. Using global variables, we can keep session details. We'll have a detailed discussion on the global variables later. So there are variables like any other language has a variable, and for a web language, it is a kind of a session variable, and we can they are very useful when we are gathering data from macros or keeping data from some screen for later use or for some calculation. So if you guys have any further questions, you can ask us in the later session after performing the lab, and we'll be pleased to answer the questions. See you in the next session. That is in 2 hours, I guess. Okay. So almost after 2 and 2.5 hours, we'll meet, and we'll have some more topics covered. Thank you for your patient listening. Bye-bye for now.